guys, in this video we're going to have a go at making Rex from Toy Story. Now he's just a little model that you can use for a cake topper if you like. I'm going to use modelling chocolate for this one. So I'm going to dye it to the colour I want first. So I've got a bit of spruce green and party green together. And I'm going to start by shaping his leg. So I've got two pieces the same size, so I know that they're both going to be the same for the legs. Rolling it into a little fat sausage, pinching it a bit thin around the middle. So this top end's going to become the thigh. And then I'm pinching a little bit lower down, which will become his ankle. Just going a bit more on the back of the knee. He doesn't want a really narrow ankle, keeping it quite solid. If it is too small, it won't hold up the weight of the body. And I'm just pushing my Dresden tool into the foot to create toes. So I've just done it twice, and then can you see we're just pushing up a little bit at the end of each toe. This is so we've got a little gap to put his claws on. And we're just going to put a little bit in for the back claw as well. Put some little lines on now for his knee. And anywhere that you think he's going to need some wrinkling. Now, I do want to try and texture him a little bit, so I've just got some texture mats. One's like a pebble stone effect, and the other one's supposed to be sand. Now, I quite like the big one, but it might be too big. Let's see. So I'm just going to push this onto there. Now, I'm probably going to end up smoothing some of it out, more so by accident. It's just nice to give him a little bit of texture. And then with just a small amount of the modelling chocolate, I've dyed it a darker green. And we're going to put some kind of triangular shapes on for his claws. So you can see I've kept them quite big and chunky. And they're going to go everywhere that we put those little indentations. So one on the back, and there'll be 3 on the front. And add little lines if you want. I'm just going to secure it in place with another piece of modelling chocolate. Just put some lines onto that as well. Now can you see my leg is actually standing up on its own as well? So just make sure it balances and just do the same for the other leg. So for his body, it's quite a large amount of modelling chocolate. It's going to be quite heavy, but we're going to create a bit of a teardrop. So it's the tail that we're pulling in to shape first. Make sure you've got plenty modelling chocolate still for the body. And I'm pinching in again so that he's kind of got a rounded tummy, and it leaves us with kind of a ball shape for like his chest. So once you're happy with the shape, I'm just going to cut a little bit just off the top, just above where his chest is going to be, so that his neck will sit on there. Now, because he's a toy, he has a join at the neck, so it's nice on this one that we don't have to blend it out. I'm taking a little slither off each side of the body where his legs are going to go. We're just going to give it a little bit of texture with our texture mat. And then I'm just going to draw some little lines in across his chest. And just see if these legs balance on their own here. Brilliant. And he's going to sit onto there like this. Just put a wooden skewer through each leg just for extra support. And then we're going to push these legs against the body. Now, if you can get the skewer tilted so it comes out at the top of the leg at an angle, you can push that then into the body. Now, you can leave the skewers out the bottom if you want, and then you can push him into something to hold him in place, or you can trim them. So you can see I've just added a second one just for extra support in there. Now, because it's got the skewers, I wouldn't be able to let anybody just eat him without removing them first. If the legs don't feel like they're sticking, just add an extra piece of modelling chocolate just on the inner thigh, just to hold them on a little bit tighter. I'm just going to add a cocktail stick in the neck, just so we've got some support for his head. I'm just pressing in either side of the chest where his arms are going to go. And I'm just neatening off this neck bit here, just straightening it off again. Now I'm going to do the top part of his neck, and we're just going to push that in place. Don't make it too big, this bit. So can you see, we want to be able to see the join. I've taken my cocktail stick out and I'm putting it back in again because it didn't stick out very much. And now for the head, we're going to start with a bit of an oval. And I'm actually going to trim a bit off the bottom so it's completely flat at the bottom. And I'm just going to start pulling up a little bit for the eyes. So can you see where I'm pinching there? I'm going to narrow the back of his head. He wants to be much wider at the front where his nose is going to be. Let's just deepen where those eyes are going to go. It's giving him some eye sockets. Let's pull down those eyebrows. So can you see it instantly changes his expression when we pull down those eyebrows? Put some little lines on them on the top of those eyebrows. Just pulling those down into the nose a little bit here. And let's just push in some little nostrils with our modelling tool. There we go. And I'm just pulling out the bottom of his face. I want it to look a little bit wider, so I'm just pulling it out with my modelling tool. So it's a bit scored underneath, but that's fine, that's going to be covered up. So now we need the underneath part, so slightly smaller oval, flattened on the top bit, That's going to touch under his head. Just going to add a little strip of modelling chocolate around the edge of that, just so it comes out a little bit further. And we need to give him some teeth in a bit. Just rather than me rolling the eyes in fondant, I found some little pearls in my sprinkles that will do the job just nicely because he's only got small eyes. So I'm just pushing in these white sugar pearls, like so. Oh, it's a bit blurry. Then let's give him a little bit of texture in on his face. I'm just going to kind of draw some lines in with the end of my modelling tool for this one. Just be careful you don't squash any of his face when you're doing this. I'm just going to push his head onto the body now. Just try and make sure he's still balancing. And I've just got a little ball of modelling chocolate that we're going to stick on each cheek, one either side. I'm going to add a tiny ball of black modelling paste to each eye. I'm resting the front of him against some polystyrene just while I'm working on him because I don't want him to topple over. Tiny, tiny dot of white. So this is just white food colouring that I've just dotted into each eye. And now for the arms, we've flattened a little bit at the end and then roll thin around the wrist. Let's get some little triangles out of this so it looks more like his hands. Do that twice. Thin his arm a little bit and we're going to cut it. He's got quite short arms. I think we'll put one up to his face, but we're going to put those teeth in first before we actually stick the arms in place. So I'm going to do some little bits of white. This is just modelling paste that I've got now. And we're just going to try and push those into the roof of the mouth. So I don't see the top ones too much. It'll be more the bottom ones that we'll see. So it is a little bit fiddly, this bit. Just going to add a little bit of water, ready for when I put the bottom ones in. Going to try and cut my little shapes in half. And then we'll stick the flat bit to the bottom of his mouth. Give them a little nudge around till you're happy with where they sit. So he's got his teeth in there. And then let's stick on these arms. Now my modelling chocolate has started to harden a little bit, so I might have to try and warm up the ends just to stick it on in place. I'm going to push these up to his face. Then he looks a bit worried. Okay, so he's almost finished. We just need to give him a little bit of colour now to his chest. So I've got a bit of white and yellow mixed together, or you can just use a cream if you've got like a cream colour. And I've just got the edible powders that I've just mixed with a little bit of alcohol. And then anywhere that we want him to look a little bit darker, we're going to use a darker green and just dust it in to any little gaps and shadows. So this one is just dry dust. We've not added any kind of liquid to this one. So like eyes, nostrils, under his armpits, around any joins. Now I'm just going to make sure he balances. There he is, all finished. Just going to sit him on my shelf at home. I'm not going to let anyone eat him. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram and more.